Hi everyone, welcome back to WesKnows Tech News and Reviews. Today we'll be looking at the HUAWEI Watch GT3, and I've got it right here on my wrist, and it does look so similar to the old GT2, doesn't it? Yep, except for a couple of minor bits. Well, you've got the rotating crown and it is bigger, slightly more heavy, about 7 grams, but we'll get into all these details straight after the intro. Let's do it. If you are new to WesKnows Tech News and Reviews, we talk about the latest tech news. We do brutally honest reviews and share hacks and tricks along the way. As per usual on the reviews of the tech gadgets on WesKnows Tech News and Reviews, first we'll get into the design, then we'll talk about the display, and then we'll cover the features and functions, because there are so many to talk about on the HUAWEI Watch GT3. Now, if you are a current owner of the GT2, you might find that some of the features, yes, they've definitely been improved. There's a bit more functionality, but there's nothing groundbreaking with this watch. But I will make a separate video in regards to should you be upgrading from a GT2 to the GT3. Now, let's just say you saw this watch, you fell in love with it, and that's why you're watching YouTube, you're actually researching, should you get this watch? Well, then this review is just for you. Anyways, let's kick off with the design. You will see the bezel around the watch. Now, it's non-rotatable, but it does, well, make the watch look a bit more sporty and potentially a bit more premium. Now, you get this in an aluminium frame. Let's talk about dimensions. So here you've got a 46 millimeter diameter. So this goes across the watch. Now we're talking at just 11.5 millimeters thick. So this is just over a centimeter. So you shouldn't be catching any of your shirt sleeves or jumpers with this watch. So it is rather slimline for quite a significant surface area. Also, you will be happy to know that the lugs are metal. So this is a very durable watch. It's a hard wearer. You also get options with the straps. So here I've got a TPU rubber strap. I'm not sure it's silicone. I think it's just a variation of the TPU rubber. Also, you can get this in leather or steel. But considering that it is a quick release strap, 22 millimeter quick release, you can just go out and get yourself a third-party strap that you liked, to your own likes, to your own standards, whatever it may be. Good news here is that the clasp is metal, so it's cool to the touch, and it actually does have the HUAWEI logo just at the top of the clasp. And that is a tiny thing, but it adds the whole premium feel to the watch, considering it is quite an expensive watch. So for HUAWEI, this is the most expensive GT model yet. If the GT2 started at 140 to 150 pounds, so looking about 200 bucks, this one actually starts off, the smaller version starts at 200 pounds or 250 bucks, while the larger one, this 46 millimeter one, starts at 230 pounds and up to 300 bucks. Now, is it worth it? Well, keep watching the video and make that decision for yourself. Another major point though is the two buttons on the right hand side of the watch face. So one button is rather flat, and that's the lower one, which is more or less molded or integrated into the watch case, while the top right button is the special one because it is a rotatable crown as well as being a button. But we'll talk about the features and functions that this rotatable crown actually brings to you in the upcoming sections. Now let's talk about the display. So as we mentioned, on the smaller model, the 42 millimeter watch, not this one, the smaller one, we do get a 1.32 inch AMOLED display. It's all color, it's fully touch activated, but with this one, the 46 millimeter watch, we've got a 1.43 inch AMOLED display. It goes up to 600 nits of brightness, so you should be able to see anything that's written on the screen, be it in complete darkness or in utter sunlight, which is shining straight onto your watch face. It is really, really bright. Also, quite important fact, because it is considered a premium sporty smartwatch, it does have always on display as well as auto brightness, because there is an ambient light sensor on this watch. Now you can set up to manual brightness levels, or you can set it to auto. I prefer auto because it does save that battery juice, and it does dim when it's dark outside or dark around you. Now what else? Well, the display is actually safe from the usual wear and tear because it does get Gorilla Glass, 2.5D Gorilla Glass. So most likely it won't crack, well, unless you actually throw it at the wall. Now, considering I've had the HUAWEI Watch GT2, the 42mm version, as well as the 46mm version, I can say that yes, the glass they've got on here, that's durable. You are not going to get it scratched easily. Anyway, so that's pretty much it about the display. Now, let's get into the fun bit. Let's talk about the features and functionalities that this watch brings to your lifestyle. Let's do it. Now, I don't want to make this video a 20-minute movie. What I want to do is basically highlight the most important features. So we're not going to be talking about the basics like your alarms, your timers, your stopwatch, your weather widget. We are going to be talking about the crucial things, the things that make this smartwatch premium in today's world of smartwatches. And again, the release date for this smartwatch is mid-December 2021, so just before the Christmas specials, just before the New Year gifts. And I think it's a very smartly picked time by HUAWEI to release this watch, because as you know, they do have the HUAWEI Watch 3, which starts at like 280 quid or 350 bucks. Now, that watch doesn't have a bezel. It looks absolutely amazing. It's also got a rotatable crown. It's got a longer battery life. But is it better? Maybe. It does have an LTE version, you see. But this watch is just priced so right because it just slides under the Samsungs. Just a bit more expensive than the AMAZFIT GTR3 or the 3 Pro, but then again, HUAWEI is a much bigger and more famous brand. Of course, it does undercut the big boys like the Garmins, the Apples of this world, but we have to remember that the HUAWEI Watch GT3 runs on its own platform, the Harmony OS. And there are not that many apps that you can still download because that ecosystem is only in development stages. It's only being filled up. So of course, if you have an Apple Watch, there are myriads and absolute tons of apps that you can download to your watch. Now, with the HUAWEI, it's going to take some time. So currently, if you get the watch, you'll have to make do with what's already on the watch. But again, for that price point, it does offer quite a bit. Okay, so this watch does have 5 satellite networks that it works with. So GPS, Galileo, GLONASS, and a couple more. So 5 all up. So HUAWEI is saying that this watch has up to 50% better geolocation positioning than the previous GT2. We're yet to check that out. Also, the sensor at the back. Apparently, it's way better than what we had on the GT2. And I do hope so, because the GT2 was quite a bit away from the Polar H10 ECG chest strap. And now HUAWEI have actually made a claim of their own. They said with the GT3, the small version and this version, is that the optical heart rate sensor on the back of it is within 96% accurate of the Polar H10 ECG chest strap. Now, if you watch my channel for quite a bit, you know that I do tennis tests. I do testing in the gym while I'm running. I've got the Polar H10 sitting on top of my chest, and I'm measuring the heart rate from there and comparing it to the heart rate that I'm seeing on the smartwatches. So those tests are upcoming with this watch. So we'll see how accurate the HUAWEI claim is. Now, the GT3 has 100 sport modes. That's a whole lot of sport modes. On top of that, if you are looking to get into running, or if you are doing running as it is, well, this watch has 13 predefined courses that take you from newbie or from rookie all the way to semi-pro levels with quiet, good and guided program. So as you're running, the watch will push you on saying, well, your pace is falling a bit too low or too high, etc. Right? So this is really good. These are voice guided. Well, as long as you do have your Bluetooth earphones connected to your phone or to the watch, because at the end of the day, you don't need to carry around your phone when you've got this watch, because you've got 4 GB of allocated storage for your media, so you can download your music, well, basically any media files that you can listen to while you're running. It's got GPS, so it does measure your distance, your speed, and so forth. But of course, if you do want to be able to take calls off the watch face, you do need to be connected via Bluetooth with your smartphone. So with the GT2, you couldn't do that. With the GT3, that's simple. You can actually record up to 4 favorite phone numbers to call off from your wrist. But if you do have an incoming phone call on your phone, you can actually choose to take the call from your wrist, and the sound quality is spectacular. We are talking Samsung quality here, and that means great quality. The person on the other line will not be able to tell the difference whether you're speaking into the phone or actually speaking into the microphone of the HUAWEI Watch GT3. So really good, and the sound quality is very crisp. It's rather loud, but you can of course adjust the volume. Anyway, so this watch can do it for you. Now, what other awesome functionality? Finally, the HUAWEI Watch GT3 actually gets an AI assistant. So with the HUAWEI, you still have that online voice assistant, something like Siri with the Apple Watch, something like your Google helper with your Samsungs. So this is extra cool. And I'll actually be doing a video which shows you how to use that assistant and the type of questions you can be asking. So make sure to keep watching us. So of course you've got the 3 sleep stages that the watch monitors. So your deep sleep, your light sleep, and your REM sleep. You also get auto stress monitoring. And I've seen a couple of reviewers saying that the auto stress monitoring only happens on Android devices. That is not true, because I test all my watches on iOS and Android, and I can commit and say that I've tested the auto stress monitor and it works both Android and iOS. Also, this watch here can actually measure your SpO2 continuously. So your SpO2 is your blood oxygen saturation. So this is a very important metric if you are trying to assess your respiratory health. So things like sleep apnea, you wouldn't be able to monitor the situation if it's just an on-demand press of a button calculation or monitoring. You actually need continuous monitoring of your blood oxygen saturation while you're at rest, and this is what the watch does. There are also breathing exercises. You do get the barometer, you do get your compass. Now I'm not sure when you would actually go out there and use a compass unless you are a full-on hiker, and then the GT3 does make sense because the battery life on here, well, a claimed battery life on the bigger watch is up to 2 weeks. If you did like what you heard about the HUAWEI Watch GT3, then please keep watching my follow-up reviews, because I will be talking specifically about the new functionalities in regards to sports, in regards to the rotatable crown. I'll be showing you some hacks and tricks that you can do with this watch, and of course we will have GPS as well as heart rate accuracy tests. So thank you for watching this review of the HUAWEI Watch GT3. If you did enjoy it, please drop me a like. If you want to see more of the same, you know what to do. Please hit the red subscribe button below the video, and I'll see you in the next one.